You're listening to SM Media, the home of exclusive West of Scotland Football League content. Hi, folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media West of Scotland football show. I'm Scotland Pike. It's an absolute pleasure to be your host, as always. It's obviously going to be a different week to what we've done the past few weeks. We're going to focus more on the cups that took place over the weekend, but we are thrilled to be joined by the Kirkintilloch Rob Roy manager, Stewart Maxwell. Stewart, it's a pleasure to have you on. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, mate. Pleasure as always.
Brilliant. Obviously, I've spoke to you at different times, different seasons, and we've sometimes been good, sometimes it's been bad. But the start you've had has been unbelievable. 7 points from 3 games. How happy are you with the start of the season so far for Rob Roy?
Yeah, I'm really happy, Scott. I think we've improved the squad. I think any manager at this level looks at where they finished last year and looks at the players they've got, and there's not been a massive turnover going out the door at Rob Roy that in previous years I've had to rebuild squads because if I've had any success. Other bigger clubs have come in and that's fine. You've just got to live with that. But I think we've bucked that trend this year. Everybody's enjoyed it, stayed, and like I say, I think we've improved the squad. I think every manager wants to improve their squad, and I think we've improved it. I think the new boys have come in all terrific individuals, good players, and they've fitted really well into the squad and how we try to implement their game plan. And it's a good harmony at Rob Roy now. It's a good start. But as you know, last year we had a poor start, lost our first 4 games, but recovered really well. But no, it's been encouraging. And like I say, it's only 4 games in, but like you say, you would want to have 7 points out of 9 and none out of 9. That's for sure. So aye, we're doing okay.
Obviously, as well, like last season, after 5 games, you had no points. Now, as you say, you've 7 points for 9. Like how big is that shift in dynamic in terms of your kind of? Because after 5 games last season with 7 going down, it's hard to kind of it was hard to. That's why I think you deserve so much credit for the job you did last year. Staying up was massive, but the way you stayed up was phenomenal. But it's different now. You've had a good start, and now it's a case of building on that, and just the sky's the limit. Really, I would say.
For us, there's everybody out with Rob Roy. There's no expectation. Rob Roy every year's one of the favourites to go down, but I think some point we've got to try and buck that trend. And we've sort of looked at that in house. We've looked at the ambition of the club. The infrastructure's getting better. But hopefully, there's some good news in the horizon. Hopefully, like I say, everybody's been craving. So no, you're right. Again, the difference obviously this year is I think it's more important to get a better start because the league's shorter. There's obviously 38 league games last year. We're down to 30, so you're 8 games shy of what you were last year. So it's obviously more difficult if you don't have a great start. Not to say that you can't do it, because you would look at Rob Roy if you were maybe had a poor start and say, look, they turned it around. It can be done, but you're just obviously 8 games less to do that. But no, but let's say we finished joint 8th last year, and I think any manager, wherever they finish, League 4th, 2nd, they've always got to try and aspire higher. So we've got to set ourselves a higher target. And I don't think supporters want to hear me say, just stay up. I think at some point they want to say, well, let's see how high we can get. And like I say, if Rob Roy can finish where they finished last year, it's a success again. If they can finish higher, it would be great. But if your aim is to consolidate and stay in the league, because it's such a tough league. There's so many good teams, and that's got to be our aim. But we've got to raise our expectations. I think definitely.
Yeah, obviously the result that sticks out was the 5-1 away victory over Lags. What went right that day? That's obviously a massive result.
I think what's went right over the 3 games. Like, we're really disappointed not to win the Hurlford game because I thought we played really well in that game and we dominated it for the majority of the game. And Dan and JD said that to me after the game. They were lucky to get away with a point. They were honest enough to say that. I think the difference in the 3 games is we've finished really strong in the games, and I think our depth in our squad, their substitutions have all come on and made an impact. Like I think in the Hurlford game, I know we were strong throughout that game, but even the subs came on and gave us a jag and tried to get over the line. Peter Sill it was more a patience game. We dominated for long spells and that, but the substitutes going. Ben Daly scored within minutes of coming on, and we kicked on again. I think in the last game against Largs, we got 3 goals out of the substitutes as well. We finished strong again in the game because it was a good contest. Largs are a good side, and they'll be disappointed, but we finished the game really strong, and we capitalised in the key moments of the game, which is important and to make the game turn in our favour. But we did finish strong again in that game as well.
Yeah, absolutely as well. And I think the one thing that sticks out is obviously the South Challenge Cup game against Lancarty, a 3-2 win. But obviously we know it's turned into a bit of a bad situation. But it kind of leads us into obviously the situation where the kind of some teams been docked points and been kicked out of competitions. Because it's happened to you as well, it must be kind of bad, but what's your kind of take in the overall situation? Because it's either way, it doesn't look good. It looks as if something's going wrong somewhere in terms of kind of whether it's to do with the clubs or whether it's to do with the league. Something's not going to plan.
I can give you our take. Listen, I'd like to think that nobody's going to play a player that's ineligible, right? We just at our level, you aren't going to be. It's been an honest mistake. Our match secretary Jim Black's been there for 11 years with me, and he's never done that. So basically, our situation, which everybody's have a tale to tell how theirs came about. We've signed a squad at the start of the year. The only player I added in after that was Jordan Duncan, the player in question for Saturday. So Jim was away. Jim goes away the whole of the summer because he's retired. So Neil had checked all the current squad that were any suspensions, nothing. Jordan's came in after that. Jim, like I say, an honest mistake, thought Jordan was part of that group. It snowballs here. When you look at the suspension list, Jordan gets sent off nearly a year ago for Broomhill, 2 yellow cards in the game. So it's nearly a year ago this suspension's been going from. And when the suspension list came up with saying Jordan, Duncan, Broomhill, Jim's obviously recognised that, honest mistake. Jordan's come off the bench with about 5-10 minutes to go in the game on Saturday. We played 115 minutes with 10 men, and we've won the game. But rules are rules, but for me, just a couple of things, and people will probably look back and maybe try and pick. This is my opinion, and it's only my opinion. It's a standalone competition, so it becomes a standalone competition. That's fine. So a guy's waiting a year to serve a suspension near enough, gets sent off in October, but it doesn't become a standalone competition when Keane gets sent off and it's violent conduct. It becomes he gets suspended for the next game against Glenafton. So is it a standalone competition? And he gets a 2-match ban, so he misses Glenafton game, but then he gets another ban in the South Challenge Cup next year. For me, at our level, it's a lot of volunteers that aren't getting paid. We're not full-time clubs, we're part-time clubs. If I get sent off, Scott, one of my players gets sent off, or any player gets sent off, a Pollock player, we all take our medicine. Just suspend them in the next game. Make it easy. I think that's for I don't know about other club situation, but I'm assuming that's for a few clubs have been caught out with long-standing suspensions. It's very, very difficult. Do you know what I mean? And we've been caught out with total an honest error, and it's an error. And people say, "Oh, he should have known," and maybe Jim should have, but he didn't. And Jim's Rob Roy through and through, and he's sitting there devastated that he's made an error, and it's an honest error, and that's our situation. But I just think standalone competition. Well, are you? Because certain rules aren't, and I mean, sort of need to change the rules a bit, guys, or stick to your guns. You can't be standalone when it's 2 yellows, or it's a straight red and it's a certain straight red. It's no, So I just make it easier for guys, but no taking away we've made an error and we've been punished for it. We're out the cup. Disappointing because we've took 2 buses up there on Saturday.
Yeah, I know.
The guys are down to 10 men. They've battled back against a side that were unbeaten. And now they'll not get the benefits of that. And the players worked extremely hard to win the game. And like I say, Jordan came on and he's come on for 5 minutes, 10 minutes to go at the end of the game in extra time. He's influenced it. But we've been punished. We take our medicine, but just help guys, clubs out a wee bit, I think, as well with points. Because if you want to be another bit more technical, it comes up as Broomhill. They're now open goal in Broomhill. It's things like that. You mean, but we're no deflecting for the fact that we've made an error.
And it's that thing as well, as you say, like if it's over a year as well. It's hard, as you say. I know, it's hard, and I would understand if one club and two clubs it does happen. You see it everywhere, but for so many to happen, and I don't I understand obviously about the fine and the 3 points, but should there not be another way? Just a kind of something. I don't know who's if it's been the clubs in every case. I don't know if it is. I mean,
Exactly.
because like you just there must be a way to like sit around a table and go, let's see if we can resolve this so it doesn't happen again, because it causes so many needless problems in my opinion. Because
listen, there's no way, Scott, that clubs play a guy known they're ineligible.
exactly.
Clubs don't do that. Any club, right? Doesn't matter who it is. You've seen managers arguing on Twitter over this, over SFA mate an error in the Kilwinning in this instance. It's been well explained. Ben Grant well explained it. Lauren Grant, the secretary, who's a great secretary by the way.
Yeah.
Really good at her job. It's an error. Then it's caused Irvin Meadow get involved with Kilwinning, and then I seen Drumchapel and Cumbernauld going at it through another technical error. You don't want to see that, but
no,
all we want is we don't. Nobody deliberately does it. I just don't accept any club does it, but it's happened, and it's happened quite regular, more regular this year than it has in any other year. So is there something that needs to be helped the clubs? Other clubs that haven't done it will say, well, it's no use, I've made an error. So again, it's all a difference of opinions, but we don't want to see teams kicked to any cup. We don't want to see teams. Look at Arthurlie get deducted 3 points. Worked at absolute backsides off.
Yeah, exactly.
3 points with 9 men. Their first 3 points of the season. That would kick their boys on psychologically, and their bang it's taken away from through an error that they've not deliberately made. Do you know what I mean? So it's difficult, but where do we get a resolve? You'll never please everybody. So where do we get a resolve that suits everything? I've seen Big Moth says he nearly get caught out with it as well. And in the same sort of situation, there's other teams that have maybe been on the cusp as well. So we're all sort of experiencing it a wee bit, but it is difficult. But the format's changed. We're now West of Scotland. We're no juniors now, so everything's upgraded. So let's upgrade everything and help every club going forward.
I think that's absolutely right. I think there needs to be something there just to, again, it's not like trying to catch teams out. It's helping out and trying to just
100%
have a way of doing it, because it's, again, you're going to have so many, as you say, you've been kicked out of cup, unfortunately. Arthurlie have lost points. I think Drumchapel have lost points as well. Whitlets, sorry. Like there's
Dalry,
Whitlets, Ardea,
Muirkirk get kicked out of the cup as well. Yeah. So
it's unfortunate.
Listen, there's a lot of new clubs coming into this level as well. A lot of younger match secretaries that have not had experience at this level, which is intense. You need to make sure you do your due diligence. So let's try and help people. And like I say, my match secretary's inconsolable over it.
Yeah.
Inconsolable, sitting, nicer guy you couldn't meet, but feels the burden of the supporters and the players. And Jordan Duncan, saying to Jordan, he didn't even realise, I didn't even know what competition I get sent off in. It was that long ago. And it's just a whole catalogue of disasters.
And that's the thing as well, when Jordan Duncan probably gets sent off, I don't think the South Challenge Cup probably existed. So it's a weird one.
I don't know. Again, and like I say, you don't want to point the finger at people, but unfortunately other people will. And again, people look at the player and go, well, he's done it. And that's it. And that's your stance. But let's try and help every club, and let's keep every club in every competition. And whoever wins a game in 90 minutes or extra time deserves to win. No going through by default on a registration error or a suspension error, you know.
Absolutely. But we'll get into the action over the weekend. Let's start with the Scottish Cup, the Senior Scottish Cup. A good weekend for the West teams. Only 3 Rovers were eliminated for the competition, losing to Syngenta. It's been a good advert for the West of Scotland with all these teams going through.
Looking at the fixtures, I'm not surprised, to be honest. We've got strong teams out our West region as well represented at that level, and again, it'll go stronger again next year when other clubs get their applications in and get their memberships for the SFA. But no surprise, and it's good to see our league well represented into the first round proper, which the draw was obviously earlier today as well.
But obviously, I said there about 3 going out. Girvan and Bonnet are obviously out as well. They lost to other West teams, Clydebank and Pollock. But we'll start with, I think Auchinleck's a good place to start. I think a 7-0 win will do them the world of good. I don't think, obviously, they've not had a bad start, but they've not obviously been kind of free flowing and scoring goals. But getting 7 goals at home is a good way to build confidence, I would say.
Yeah, I think Auchinleck have been renowned over the last few years for just being defensively solid, scoring when it matters, and seeing games out, and they're very good at that. But I think, like you say, and you see they've not had they've just not had an open leg Talbot expectation start of winning every game. But remember, they played the champions, and that's the only team that's beat them. So it's not as if they've been in a bit of disarray. But no, that'll get good confidence. Supporters again, big expectation down there. Starting the Scottish Cup run, which they've been great over the years, and to go and get 7 goals, professional performance, clean sheet, they'll be happy with that, and they move on to the next round.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, big one for Auchinleck. Clydebank had to come from behind to beat Bonnet and Thistle. I think obviously that'll being at the Clydebank game against Shoon a couple of weeks ago, and I saw how kind of short they were after that. To get this win, obviously come from behind, it shows you they've got the character to come back from it. And Josh Weir and Nicky Little getting doubles as well. So a big result for Clydebank, I would say.
Yeah, I think obviously they had a disappointment. Listen, you obviously you done the game. I heard that Moff's interview looked very, very dejected after the game. But all accounts a game of 2 halves.
Mm-hmm.
So I think to bounce back in the Scottish Cup was probably a good medicine for them. And obviously went down, showed a bit of character. Because listen, Bonington are league below. They felt a wee bit of pressure, and it's the Scottish Senior Cup. They want to do well. They had a great run last year, but I think they've showed their character and showed their class, and they've hung in there. They've not panicked. They've probed. They've got their goals. They've probably scored at the right times. I think they scored late on to put a bit of gloss on it. A good account of themselves, Bonington, in the game. But I think Clydebank just showed a wee bit of class in getting through. And again, they'll be delighted. Big support, demanding support, and on the back of their run last year. And I think Moff and the boys down there will be delighted with that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Darvel as well. 3-1 win away to Haddington Athletic in the East. Big result for Darvel. Obviously, the ambitious club. This is their kind of the competition they really want to do well in, and they'll be delighted with a start like that.
Yeah, I think I've been at Haddington. Haddington's really improved the last few years. Their infrastructure. We've been there a few years ago. Great surface, big pitch, but they've really we've kept in contact with you guys. I've noticed the results have been really good. Mm-hmm. I knew it'd be a tough game for Darvel, and obviously they went down early doors to go, and again away from home, and obviously the Haddington boys were two at a lift. But again, Darvel showed their class. I think there was a sending off just before half time. I think the Haddington keeper gets sent off. It's obviously turns it, and a good side like Darvel will capitalise that, and Michael and Craig McEwen and Blair Munt are in there. They'll have done their homework, and they know that they've got the players that can go and change games. Didn't panic is probably the message. Stay in the game, but the ball retention, the way they play through teams, and with Jinky Morrison up top, they've got and Scott Ferguson, they've got an embarrassment of riches with Alan McKenzie as well. He scored a hat trick, I think, the week before. So yeah, they're always going to keep themselves in games. But again, Michael and Cole will be delighted that they're through the next round, and they'll be looking to get another decent run in that cup as well.
Yeah, Pollock as well. Obviously, the first Scottish Cup game since 2007, I think it is. Beat Girvan 6-0, an all-West tie. Stewart McCann with a hat-trick. Again, he's a key man, isn't he? Scores goals regular basis, and that's a massive buzz for the club as well.
It's incredible to think a club of Pollock's size has been 2007 since the last stage of the Scottish Senior Cup. It is. It's, again, in that sense, they're a bit of a sleeping giant, because the crowds, I think they had a crowd of 700 on Saturday. Again, that'll go up as the rounds go on. But Murray, again's got probably an embarrassment of riches up top. They've got so many good strikers. And Stewart McCann, clinical. He always seems to be in the score sheet. Adam Ford's always run about the goals as well. And they've got goals coming from wide areas and midfielders. But no, they just wanted a solid start. Girvan were always going to be against it. And I think, again, Murray will be delighted. Clean sheet, professional performance. Let's go into the next round. And again, another big demanding support that needs success. It's been a long time since Paul's had major success, so they'll be demanding that as well. So it's a good start for Murray, but not a result I didn't expect. Obviously, they've scored probably more goals, but I knew it'd be hard for Girvan to go up there and get a result.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a very impressive result for Pollock. Rutherglen 2, Kilwinning 2, an all West of Scotland tie. Kilwinning and Rutherglen, obviously. Jack McElveen scoring 2 for Rutherglen and Mark Miller scoring 2 for the Buffs. Tight game, very tight game.
I had the game watched, so I got a match report on it, and by all accounts, it was a fair result. Mm-hmm. I think Kilwinning started really well. Looking at the highlights, it looked like that. I think Glencairn came into it, but again, you've got to give the Buff credit, because it's not an easy place to go to in a fiery hot day, bumpy surface at Glencairn, and Glencairn have battled, and they put a lot of press out during the week. It's their historic first cup tie. Kilwinning's there's a lot of pressure there on Saturday for the two teams. Obviously, Kilwinning coming is a big Premier League club, and Glencairn looked to get a shot. So it was no surprise to me that it was a draw. And fair play, probably for both of them, fair play for Glencairn getting back in the game and going in front after going behind a Mark Miller goal. And then obviously tremendous for Kilwinning to go and snatch a draw at the end. I think it was right at the end. And well, Glencairn will be disappointed, but they've got to take a bit of heart for their performance, probably second half, and thinking they could get down there and cause a shot. But on the other hand, David Gormley and co, they'll be happy to take them back to the Buffs, and they'll be trying to get the job done at home. But again, it was an evenly contested cup tie by all accounts.
Yeah, and Irvine Meadow as well had to obviously settle for a draw. They'll go to Hallabeath Hawthorn next week. I think a lot of people thought this was a kind of shot in the dark for Irvine Meadow. I think a lot of people thought Irvine Meadow would win this comfortably. Hallabeath are no mugs, and I think I'm not worried about Irvine Meadow's start, but I just think that was obviously a game I think they would have fancied themselves big time, but it was Hallabeath made them work really hard, and obviously they need to go up there next week.
I'm with you. I know a wee bit about Hallabeath because, like I say, I've got a few friends that coach up there, and Hallabeath have had a big club back in the day when I played. They were always did really well business end of the Scottish, but they've had a wee bit of a renaissance last. You can see them constantly improving on the results. I didn't think that was an easy game for Irvine Meadow, and when I seen it was 1-0 for, I think it was 1-0 in the second half, and I think Irvine Meadow equalised. But by all accounts, I think Irvine Meadow threw the kitchen sink towards the end.
I think they worked hard at the end.
For Spenny and James Latta, I think that'll be a difficult tie going up there. It'll be a tough environment. There'll be a big crowd. The Hawes fans will be out in force, and I think it is an upset in the sense that Irvine Meadow are a big club in the West. But it'll be a difficult game, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's extra time and penalties it settles at.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. I think I think Hallabeath are definitely worth taking seriously, but give Benburb a lot of credit as well. It's never easy going to Fort William, especially when you're your first Scottish Cup tie. But to win 4-0, massive result for the club. I know that there's a buzz around Benburb now, obviously with getting into the Scottish Cup, but again, it's not an easy trip, and going there and scoring 4 goals is never, you'll never sneeze at that.
No, I definitely, you're going into a bit of the unknown, as you say. Like, you're going up there and it's an away tie, and everybody craves a home tie at some point, the Scottish. So you're going up there, potential banana skin, don't know much about them, but my good friend in there, Derek Rodden's in there, he's one of the assistant managers. If they could have got any due diligence on them, I'm sure they would have been well prepared. But Benburb, again, ambitious. They're constantly progressing because their infrastructure's getting better, which obviously makes the team get better on the pitch. They'll be absolutely delighted to get through that tie and through it comfortably. Aaron Black getting another couple of goals, a good striker as well, who's done really well in there. So they'll be craving a home tie to go to Govan, as they all want to get their first home tie in the Scottish Cup. But no, I'm delighted for Derek and co to get through that. And they'll again, another team that was looking forward to the draw today.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of the draw, any kind of games catch your eye that kind of West teams have got? I'm just going through here. Go to Keith. You've got obviously Drumchapel away to Nairn County, a big result for Drumchapel as well in their first. Pollock against Huntly at home, and there's a few really, really exciting games in there. Like obviously,
Clydebank Spartans is the one. Clydebank Spartans, it could be Spartans are a really good low league side, and that'll be a tough tie. That could be very, very close. I think that's probably the one that stood to me. I think Huntly have improved as well.
Yeah,
I think they'll come down, but they're coming down to a great venue in Newlandsfield, and that could be another potentially good tie. Don't know much about Keith. I can look at that in the next week or so and find out if I sort of go through all the teams and see who they're playing, just to try and get my head around it. But I think there's a few good ties, and there's a few ties that teams could go through as well quite comfortably again, and get into that second round where you're introducing bigger teams as well again. So yeah, some tasty ties in there.
Yeah, I mean, Auchinleck going to St Genta, I don't think that's a free hit.
No easy.
No, St Genta, we like Andy Rogers as well. I think it's Kevin Fotheringham as well. There's some really good players in that St Genta team, and I know they're a club with a lot of ambition.
Yeah, they've got James Finlay, ex-Kilburn striker there as well. Managed by Gordon Wild, Greg Wild's dad. So I think, again, they've went through the progression levels the last couple of years, infrastructure, be able to put a wee bit more into the squad. So no, that'll not be easy, but the Talbot are serial go to difficult places and see a result out. But again, it'd be a good tie for Sargent, a big club like the Talbot. But there's, like you say, there's some tasty ties in there, but there's some ties that some of our West clubs will be saying, good chance for us to go and get through it next round and again try and get a bigger club as well. So it's all good for the level.
Yeah, exactly. Darvote home to Tynecastle and Rutherglen are co-win and play the East Champions Trinent, who are now flying in the Lowland League. So again, some really good ties.
Again, that's another one that caught my eye. Trinent are a really good side. I went to also I met you at the game last year. And they put out Darvote. Really impressed with Trinent, and again they've kicked on. Obviously, Cammy Elliott's resigned.
There's a I don't know what's happened there actually. It's a weird one.
Well, he obviously comes from a senior background, so I don't know if there's maybe something in the offing. I don't know dynamics. Maybe there's something in maybe the offing for him to go to a senior club because he's done really well there. But they're a well structured, well financed club. Somebody will pick up a really good squad there and probably keep that bus going in the right direction. And that'll be a tough tie. I mean, potential one in Trinent, two big sides, and then Glencairn, if they get through, would cause a shock. And they'll be in the up to maybe try and cause another one. So. Yeah, that's another one that's caught my eye as well. Another tough tie.
Yeah, absolutely as well. It's just really good to see so many West teams doing well in the Scottish Cup. But we'll move into the Junior Cup as well. A lot of West clubs are busy in that. Craigmark beat Lags and penalties in an all-West tie. It's one of those that Lags obviously in the Premier Division, Craigmark in the Second Division. But I generally fancied Craigmark to cause a wee surprise there.
Well, listen, Largs suffered the same fate we suffered in the Cup last year. 2-0 up going into 90th minute and lose a goal in the 90th and the 96th.
I know.
It's ironic the amount of teams that come back and it goes straight to penalties and they win it in penalties. Penalties, for me, usually is a lottery, but Lanark done it to us. Lanark scored against us in the League Cup last year. We were 2-0 up and cruising. Lost a goal in the 90th minute and lost a goal in the 94th, get put in penalties. It doesn't surprise me that great Craigmark went on and won it in penalties because the Largs boys they'd have been jolted with that. And then a bit of disbelief. But Arnie will be gutted because he's really done well in the Scottish Junior Cup.
Absolutely, yeah.
The last few years, he's had some really good runs over the years, got to the final a few years back. He's had a quarter final. I think he's had a semi maybe as well, I'm not sure. But he's done well. And obviously, on the back of, I think the last game was at the loss to us, that'll be a body blow to them as well. But Craigmark's had a fantastic start to the season.
Yeah, they've been
not
really
a surprise
good
at the end, but a surprise at the way they've done it.
The way they've done it,
2 goals in injury time, you know. I feel for Arnie and the guys down there, but Craigmark are just continuing, never say die, and I went through, and they'll be delighted, and they'll be difficult to beat anybody goes down there. But a difficult tie, whoever draws them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Arthurlie bounced back from their kind of poor disappointment during the week, obviously with the ineligible player thing. 10-1 win over Harthill Royal, who've obviously moved from the west to the east. But Tam McGoy with 7 goals.
Listen, as we've seen over the weekend, with teams scoring 9-10 goals, getting the magic 10s always seems to be kicks out. But terrific for Arthurlie. It doesn't matter the level of opposition. Tam McGoy has scored 7 goals, a phenomenal feat. Unfortunately, David Grant scored 9 in the Scottish Senior Cup for Dunny Pace, so he didn't even finish the top goal scorer in one of the games, you know. So, but no, that's phenomenal. And like you say, with their disappointment and the whole fiasco they've went through, and they've just went out and put a show on and showed how good a side they are. And they're ruthless and they've got really good players, especially going forward. Dale Simone and McGaughey, and they've got Gary Carroll, one of my ex-players. Yep, I mean, they're blessed with good players that can really hurt teams. And again, it's always 1-0 or 10-1. You're through to the next round of the cup, but it's always good to go through with a performance like that. And Craig Palmer and Ryan McCardle, who I know well, ex-teammates, I mean, they'll be delighted with that to get through the next round. Well, good goal-scoring performance for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they'll be delighted with that. All first division tie in the Junior Cup. Cumbernauld United 0, Shotts 2. Again, 2 teams that probably would have been hoping to go on a decent cup run, but Shotts obviously winning big on the day. A massive result for John McKeown and his team.
It was a game I attended on Saturday. It was a game I took in because I was at it. So for me, probably it was lacked a wee bit of quality first 10-15 minutes, but I thought Shotts Cumbernauld had a couple of good chances, a couple of really good chances in the first half, never capitalised on it. Shotts scored. And then sort of seen it out to half time as the game went on. I just felt Cumbernauld looked a wee bit leggy and they ran out of ideas. And then Shotts hit them in the counter and just played the game plan really well. And Shotts are coached by a good man, a guy I hire rate, John McKeown. But I felt Cumbernauld never capitalised at the key moments in the game. That Kevin Watt had a one-on-one chance, and the boy Liam O'Kane blazed over when he should have hit the target, and that might have just turned the game. So I thought Cumbernauld were slightly the better team at that point, but again, shots just hung in there, scored, seen it into half time, and then it's Cumbernauld, I say, ran out of ideas, got a wee leggy, they hit them in the counter and seen it out. And a good result, because you've got to remember that shots went there a week or so ago, lost 4-1 in the league.
Yeah.
So for them to turn that around and stay, it's a great result for John and the boys there. And Tony will be disappointed that I think if Tony will be disappointed, they never capitalised when they were in top of the game, never took their chances. But they've had a good start in the league, so they need to try and kick on for that as well.
It shows you how crazy that first division is going to be as well. Like you Cumbernauld in shots 2 weeks ago, it finishes 4-1 Cumbernauld, and then in the cup it's 2-0 shots. It just shows you this. It's so unpredictable, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the Championship is just going to throw up results all year. I think it could be ultra competitive. Again, like the West Premier League, I know that there's a kingpins in there, like a Darvel, Auchinleck, but other teams have started well as well, and I think that Championship could really go to the wire this year. There could be 7 or 8 teams fighting out to go for these top 3 slots.
Yeah, and as well, another result we'll talk about, Bees going to Cooper Angus and winning 8-0. That's never easy going up to a place like that, but to score 8 goals again, just a lot of... Conor McGlinchey scored 2 and got an assist, I think, as well. There's goals all over that Bees team. I think I've been quite impressed with the goals that spread about their side.
That's 2 weeks in a row they've scored 8 goals.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter the opposition, they beat St Anthony's 8 and they've done that. So credit to a good pal of mine as well there, Kev McDonald. And obviously Chris Towney's the manager, and they've in there and it's been a bit of a rebuild. But they've kept good core experienced players. Kenny McLean's defied his year. He's actually getting better as he gets older.
Yeah.
Incredibly. Paul Fry's good player at this level over the years, and obviously Conor McGlinchey's been a long time, another really good pro, and they've kept a wee core there, and obviously Straney knows the level, and he's well back down there to try and make his stamp on that squad. And like I say, they've done really well, but nothing I don't expect. We play them in a few weeks' time, so we expect nothing on a tough game, and they're well coached as well. So no, they'll be delighted with 16 goals in 2 games. You can't ask for better than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll just go through some of the results, and I'll ask you kind of what catches your eye involving West teams. Rossvale 0, Muirkirk 0. Rossvale won 5-4 in penalties on Friday night. Lanark went out 5-2 at Aberdeen East End. Ardere 1, Johnson 1, and Ardere won 5-4 in penalties. Newmain's going to Banks of D Juniors and winning 4-2. You've got Maybole 5-0 win over Brecon Victoria. Ashfield won 3-0 away to Birkenhaven. Kirklook were put out in penalties by Ellen United. You've got the likes of Bellshill winning 4-3, Maryhill winning 3-0 away from home. There's a lot of St Anthony's 5-0 away, Kilsyth 4-1 away as well. There's a Glasgow Perthshire as well, 6-1 at home. Some massive results for West teams in there.
For me, it might not be a result that sticks out. There's two different reasons, but Newmain's going to win at Banks of D. Banks of D's a good setup, and they're usually a strong team up there.
I think that was a second team. I think that's a second team.
Oh, is it?
I think that's a reserve team.
Oh, is it? Have they got 2 teams again? Yeah, you've educated me.
Aye, because obviously the main teams in the Highland get promoted to the Highland League, because I think that's their reserve team. But somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the setup there.
Well, okay, that may be. I thought Banks of Day, I looked at that today and wow, what a result that is. But again, as you say, it's good for like Bellshill. I've not had a great start in league, but an ex-teammate of mine's just took over there, Dean Muir.
Yeah.
So again, they've maybe in there and galvanised. It's good for them to see them get a win, and can they kick on a wee bit as well? And like they say, St Anthony's going and getting a win. But I thought the biggest, probably, because there's been a lot of profile in the last couple of weeks, is Johnson Borough going out to Ardere.
Yeah.
I think that was probably, they had aspirations of probably being a cup team that could go and cause a few shocks. So, but Ardere, a team again, keeps springing results up, and they've done well over the last. I mean, coached really well in the last. New managers went in, and he's done really well over a period of time here, and turned that around for nothing. By the way, I think a lot of people forget that they were in disarray. He deserves a lot of credit. So I think that was a great result for Ardere, and I think Johnson Borough would have fancied themselves to maybe get a run in this competition. Yeah, so yeah, like you say, a lot of great results for West teams. Really, really good again. Encouraging.
Yeah. Glenafton 8, East Kilbride Thistle 1, Greenock 7, Saltcoats 2. That was two teams involved in West games. Well, Les Mahago going out 2-1 to Hermes. Hermes are quite a decent side, obviously, in the north, so I wasn't overly surprised at that. Yoker, last season's finalists, going out to Livingston United in penalties. I know there's been a lot of turnaround in there, but that'll be a huge disappointment for Gordon Robertson and his team.
It was a game I expected would be very, very tough for you. I know quite a bit about Livingston.
Yeah.
And actually, it's an ex-Rob Roy player that scored a goal and have done really well. They got to a final of cup last year. I've been quite contact with their manager at points, but I knew that was going to be a tough game. It's a tough pitch. And obviously, the euphoria about the Yoker boys done last year, and then obviously they've been cherry picked and lost a few players. It was always going to be hard for them, but I think by all accounts, they control spells of the game. But I just knew it was a difficult dynamic to see a pitch here, and Livingston are tough not to crack. So I knew it was going to be a tough game, but you'll be disappointed after one last year to go out at the first hurdle. But it's just the romance of the cup, innit? Like you can go for your euphoria final, you get out in the first round. It's just the way it can go, and they'll be disappointed. But they've got to be proud of what they did last year, and they'll ever etched themselves in history of what they've done for the club. But there's a few results. Glenafton scoring 8, it's no good for me because we've got them on Saturday. Don't want them scoring 8 goals against Enby. I'll get their confidence up. But that, I mean, again, it's an experienced Scotland team. You look at it, a lot of experienced players in there, and they've really done a number on them, to be fair, at that result. So, again, they'll be delighted to go through that as well. But you say there's so many positive results for West teams again, but Scott, that's been the trend for the last 4 or 5 years. The West teams have really dominated the Scottish Junior Cup. It tells you how strong it is down here, even in the leagues below the Premier League, Championship, First Division. Good teams in there that can, on their day, can go and beat Endy, and going straight to penalties as well. Might not be your day, and you just might nick it in penalties against one of the bigger teams. It's all set up for a lot of shocks, especially as the rounds go on.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? If you're not quite at it, and you don't get a result, you get taken to penalties, it can be a lottery.
Yeah, one result that catches my eye a bit for maybe not the best reason, Cambuslang getting beat 2-1 away to Dundee East Craigie. Now, it's difficult to know kind of how good Dundee East Craigie are, but just Cambuslang, they've not the best start. You look at likes of Scott Williamson going to Queen's Park and starting in the Championship. Losing a player like him, we've spoken about it for the past few weeks, massive, but that's another kind of, that'll be a disappointment because they'll just be hoping for a good cup run, and obviously just that would have been big to maybe kind of fill them with confidence going into the kind of next few weeks in the league, I would have said.
Yeah, they'll be gutted with that. Don't be kidded on. They'll be gutted with that because they're the fans themselves. Obviously, a good result against Gretna a week before. Paul and Billy will be bitterly disappointed as well the players. There's just a wee bucket. A lot of Dundee teams have cropped up and seem to be at the top end of the tables up there. They've got North End to be playing the cup. You've got Dundee East Craigie. I think there's Downfield. Dundee Downfield. So they've obviously. It wouldn't have been easy for Cambuslang, but I thought Cambuslang would have won it. My brother plays with Cambuslang, so speaking to him over the weekend, he was bitterly disappointed, and they need to try and get wins on the board to stay in cups as well. You've not had a great start league, but Billy and Paul, they'll be bitterly disappointed with that, and I think that's a shock, even though it's up there.
I think it is as well.
I think it's a shock, and that's no disrespect to Dundee East Craigie because they're obviously a decent side, but Cambuslang with their aspirations going up there and getting themselves in the next round of the cup, so probably the biggest shock, biggest name getting out early.
Yeah, absolutely. Petershill won 4-0 at home to Nairn St Ninian. Troon 4-1 winners against Ardrossan. Gartcairn had to do it in penalties away to Vale of Clyde. That was, by all reports, a very entertaining encounter. It was 2 each, and Gartcairn obviously down at 5-3 in penalties. But again, a great advert for the West. You get two teams really tight, and it goes to penalties.
I was down watching. I took in the Vale of Clyde Dalry last midweek, and it was a bit of a ding-dong game. Again, it's another tight pitch. It slopes. It's not the biggest, and Vale of Clyde play it really well. To be honest, I knew that was going to be a tough game for Gartcairn, and the old adage, just get through to the next round. There's a classic example with the 10-1 are skating through in penalties. Gartcairn will be glad to get through that. It was a potential banana skin, and Vale of Clyde have accrued a decent side there. Some good players. I was quite impressed with them against Dalry the other week there, and they'll be delighted that they're through that tie, and not another one into the casualty list.
Yeah, definitely. And into the Strathclyde Demolition Cup, Neilston 0, Forth 0, and Forth won 10-9 in penalties, so it shows you how tight that game was. St Cadoc's had to work against BSC Glasgow, a 4-2 win. Thorn Athletic 3, Glenvale 0. What kind of sticks out to you out of that cup?
Probably Neilson getting out, to be honest. I think it's a shock. Neilson have started really strong in the Championship, and I'm sure that the boys at Neilson, our aspirations are, because obviously that creates a pathway into try to get into Senior Cup, so they'll be disappointed in that for their point of view. Obviously, you say St Cadoc's going down to BSC and working their way back, but it showed their quality again again, just get through the cup ties. Again, that old adage, I just do what is required to get through. But probably the Neilstein defeat, but fair play to fourth. That's a great result for them, and that'll give them a bit of confidence as well. And 10-9 in penalties. I take it the goalkeepers were up next if
Yeah, I mean,
somebody hadn't missed.
It's good though. It's a great advert as well. Like you had two really tight teams. I think fourth. We spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. Fourth are a team to watch in that second division because they've got a really kind of strong core of players, and I think that'll do them.
They've started really well.
Yeah,
and they've got a couple of names that we all sort of recognise. And I say, no a discredit to fourth. I just think with the way Nielsen have started in the championship, but again, fourth started well and showed their quality. And went there and got a result, and no, that's a good result. They'll take positive for that as well, and look to kick on and try and be that team that causes another shock in the next round.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 games in the fourth division. Eglinton get their first win of the season, a 2-1 home win over WOSFL Academy. St Peter's with a massive 8-0 home win over Harmony Row. St Peter's obviously the place to start. That's, I mean, some result. Harmony Row, I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes.
There's a lot going on in the background there,
Aye.
I think, and it's obviously it's had a ripple effect on the park. And I don't know the dynamics yet, but again, 8 goals speaks for itself. And Harmony Row, if there is problems behind it, they need to get it sorted quickly, because you're not going to create a pathway pose a disillusion what's going on, and it's obviously affected them because that'll not be the result they've been looking for in that game, but they'll be disappointed with that. But hopefully they get whatever the problem is resolved and they can get back to concentrating on and progressing their players, which have obviously been very, very good over the years.
Yeah, what about Eglinton as well? That's again a big result, a disappointing start, but to get a massive win over WOSFL Academy, who started pretty well. Big result.
Well, WOSFL Academy made me small slip with my 20s team for last year. So, so they all sort of went over there and took up the academy. Again, there's been a bit of
what do you think of that? Obviously, you know a bit about it. What's your kind of thoughts on that whole thing? Do you think it's been badly done, or is there?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, when Rossville became the senior team, the first team, not the academy team that's come up, I think there's always been that was progression for all the boys clubs to go through, so they weren't hitting a glass ceiling. And I'm assuming that's why it was created.
Yeah.
Created so that every player could go through the levels at Rossville and get a chance to go into the first team. Hopefully the first team is well established at that point. So I don't know where the breakdown in communications came. So obviously now they've had a wee bit of Twitter debates as well, but I don't get it. They've got a team there that surely their teams can progress into. So I don't know why the Rossville Academy's sprung up. There's obviously been a disagreement. I know Dom McInally really well. Really nice guy, Dom. I don't know the guys at the other side because I've not had any dealings with them, but I'm sure they're nice enough guys as well. But it just doesn't look well for outside looking in. But I don't know where that'll go. Do they, after this year, the Rossville, the senior team as they're called, do they keep their name, or are they going to have to change their name?
I think that's what they've been told.
I don't know. I don't know how. I think because obviously the Rossville Academy want to be the team that's attached to the academy now. So it's disappointing that it's ended like that. And obviously they've created another team which has been made up. Majority of all went from my 20s, who were too old obviously this year because they get the extra year with COVID. So they'll be disappointed with that result. But Eglinton, to be fair, I think they lost 6-0 to Port last week in the cup. So they'll be delighted to bounce back for that as well and get their first points to the board. I hope that gives them confidence to kick on. And that league could be tight. Forsyth Athletic, we played them in a friendly during the week. I was impressed with them as well. Got a lot of good players as well and try and play the right way. And obviously Easterhouse have looking to kick on. Good pal of mine runs there, Mark Mackay, and they'll be looking to kick
West
on.
Park as well. West Park, obviously, a big team. 3 Rovers. I mean, there's reports that 3 Rovers they think this is going to be quicker to get to the Lowland League than they would be going to the South. So it tells you kind of their ambition.
Well, I've heard all sorts of rumours that their budget's X amount of pounds, and that's been revoked for them. But and obviously, like I say, I've got Richard Tobin's a coach at Easterhouse, very good pal of mine. I play in the seniors with Mark Mackay, and they're obviously in that league. So I do hear how they're going on, but they're obviously West Park have brought a successful amateur team in, and they're looking to kick. I think for the most important things for these teams coming up from amateur level, I think, is getting their infrastructure right.
Yeah.
Getting their infrastructure, get their foundations. I get they all want success in the park quickly, and like you say, Three want to come through the ranks. They're probably a wee bit more established than our teams, but I think the other teams like Easthouse, West Park, Eglinton, the WOSFL team, and they want to get their infrastructure right, get their pitch situation, have everything there, and then build the blocks from there and up the way. And sometimes the results might not come straight away, but try and have a plan. Rome's never built in a day, as they say, you know, so they've got to have maybe a 2 or 3 year plan to implement that up. And speaking to the guys at Easterhouse, they're definitely trying to do that, and they're doing things the right way. And hopefully other clubs come in, because we want that 4th division strong. It's only going to intensify the level as well, and get us up another level, and we have a strong league coming in there. So it's good to see all these teams coming in and try and build their way up. But like you say, maybe not going to work out as way FIFA think it's going to work out, getting there quickly, the lower league.
Yeah.
We know, we and you both know what's coming out of the Championship and the Premier League level, so it'll be very, very difficult to knock some of these teams off their pedestals and working way up the leagues. But listen, they've got ambition, there's nothing the matter with that. And they look as if they could be one of the teams to beat in that league this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot to like about that league. I think there's a lot of teams. The top 3 teams, I think they're going to be pretty hard to take off the top 3 positions. But I think keep an eye on that league, because I think there's a lot of teams, as you say, ambition, and that's why they're there. That's why they've chosen to make that step up, and full credit to them. But we'll touch on, obviously, Rob Roy, before we close the show. Just kind of talk about what's coming up. Obviously, a home game against Glenafton in the next few weeks. You go to Bede, you go to Auchinleck, go to Clydebank, and then you've got some home games against Kilwinning and Pollock. It's just a case of building on track and getting some results, and again, just keep this run going, I would say.
Listen, you get through the names there. It's just not an easy. And people think the managers just saying it. There's not. It's genuinely, every manager will say it. There's not an easy game in this league. If you look at the teams, Troon's improved. Then you've obviously the top 4 were last year, are good sides. Troon's improved. Beef are under his training, Kevin McDonald, they're improving. Then you've got the teams that come up, they're finding their feet, but at some point they'll improve as well. Irvine Meadow are a big club looking for aspirations as well. And you've got Rob Roy, Sammy's in between all that, and Hurlford being Hurlford. Just Hurlford do what Hurlford do. They just get results when they need to get results. And it's just such a tough league. But we've just got to try and keep our head above the parapet, for me. And if we can keep the results going positive, there'll be bumps in the road. We're not under any illusion. Nobody knows that. I mean, I've said that to the players. There'll be bumps in the road. It's how we react to that. But try and keep your bump as far away as you can. We've not had the bump yet, so let's see how we've got another tough game in Saturday afternoon. Good side, well coached again with Marco and Ryan, and then we go down to Beef again, and then you've Clydebank, Auchinleck. I mean, it doesn't get any easier. No. But we've just got to try and keep going the way we're going. But I definitely think our squad's improved. The depth of the squad's improved, and it's been a great bunch to work with. And like I say, there'll be bumps, but we're just it's how you react to defeat, Scott. It's important. Yeah. How you react, can you bounce back quickly? Then you start to see characters in the squad. So again, it's all right, great, players when any club in the riding high, they like to let people know, but just keep yourselves grounded and try and keep digging away. And then if we get a result, let's see. If we don't get a result, it goes away. Let's see their character. Let's see how you can reverse that quickly. And like I say, off the park, things are improving for Rob Roy, and that's talking about infrastructure. No more than us. We need that. We need to try and kick on, but we've got so many things going in the background. The people behind the scenes have improved. We've brought people in that are helping the club, and we take so much faith looking at other clubs, how they've improved their infrastructure and the dynamics that they're doing. So we're trying to do the same, and we're not far away. We're not far away, and I say we're well back, great support. They deserve to see a bit of success, and hopefully we can try and deliver something in the next few years that gives them at least a home to come back to and play their football in Kirkintilloch. It's what they deserve.
And obviously as well, with the kind of going back to Kirkintilloch, and you're seeing so many West clubs going into the Scottish Cup. Is that obviously the kind of ambition? Is that where you want the club to be going forward?
Scott, exactly. I mean, I'm not sitting here. I'm envious of these clubs, and I'm not envious in a bad way. Envious that I want our club, because I know that we can compete. I look at some of the teams that are in it. We've beat a lot of teams in that prelims and over it, and we've we've competed against them. So I know we can go in there and hold our own, and we might be a team in a couple of years that might get a run. And how good's that for your community? We've got boys, we've got boys teams attached to us now coming through, and they're aspiring to become players. They've got something to aim high to, and we want to have that growing, our academy growing over the next couple of years, and players coming through. And then if we can get these Scottish Cup games, give you a high profile within the community. Look how all these teams have documented it through the week. You come out and support your local team. And we're no different. And if you get a wee run, it inspires the community. And you want to try and get teams supporting the local community. Glasgow teams are criminal for that. Out with Paul, who've got a great support. There's a lot of Rangers and Celtic thing up here. We look at Ayrshire, they're well supported. But I think the non-league crowds are coming back to every club. I think the crowds are picking up. Long football's really good. It's attractive. It's well worth its money. It's no the old junior style. We think it's just guys getting in and try to cement guys and patting back to front. There's a lot of technically good football teams. We've proved that getting to Senior Cup. The results have picked up. So non-league football's really evolved. It's starting to catch up a bit with England, but at one point we're a decade behind. We were held back because of the juniors. Junior League held us back. It's a disgrace that some of these the clubs at Auchinlecks and Pollocks and Darvels are in the Loan League now, but we were held back because the juniors held us back. We're held in our own wee separate entity. And we're now feeling the wrath of that now because these clubs should be in the Loan League. We're not quite ready. I accept that. But some of these clubs are ready to go. They've been held back because we were kept in that wee bubble. But now they've got a chance, and they're all got floodlights. They've got the licence. They're well supported. They've got good social media. They're all managed, coached well with good managers, and they've got good budgets and can go and attract good players. So it's all enhancing their level, and it's great to see. But we want to be part of that. Hopefully next year we could be part of it if we get everything going our way in the next month or so, and we can go and definitely hold our own. And hopefully we can kick on and get to the next level. But we can't do it with a park. It's now on impossible. I keep saying that. Teams need to work in their infrastructure to get it up there, give themselves a chance to immerse themselves in their community and kick on to the next level.
Yeah, well, Stuart, well, again, as I say all the time, I'm wishing you all the best with it. It's been an absolute pleasure to be on the show. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
No problem, Scott. Take care. Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much to everyone that's tuned in. Please follow and subscribe to our YouTube and social media pages, and we will see you all soon for another episode of the West of Scotland Show. Thanks very much.